Most people who watched my last video walked away with the same thought. I understand the minimum now, but how do I cross it? That's the right question. And it's the one no one answers cleanly, because most financial content stops at the concept. It shows you the gate. It tells you the gate exists. It explains why the gate matters. And then it sends you back into the world with a concept and no map. This video is the map. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 structural moves, not theories, not motivation. Specific, executable moves that accelerate the crossing. Not by 5%, not by a small margin, by years. Here's what we're working with. The median American investor crosses $100,000 in roughly 11 to 14 years. That's what doing everything right looks like. What we're discussing today cuts that runway, not through risk, not through speculation, through design. 3 moves, 3 leverage points, each one compounding on the last. Before we go into them, I want to make one thing clear. This isn't about a number on a screen. It's about crossing the threshold where the math starts working for you, instead of requiring you to do all the work. The accumulation zone is not where you stay. It's where you prepare. Let's begin. If you watched the previous video, you already know something most investors don't. You know that compound interest has a minimum, a threshold, a gate. Below it, you are the engine. The market is not doing the heavy lifting. You are. Your income, your savings rate, your decisions. That is the mechanism driving your growth in the accumulation zone, above $100,000, or whatever your personal minimum turns out to be. The math changes. Portfolio returns start to compete with your active contributions. The engine shifts from human effort to compound momentum. That's the destination. The problem is this. Most people understand the concept. They accept it intellectually, and then they do nothing differently. Why? Because understanding a destination is not the same as having a route. You can know that Rome exists. You can believe Rome is worth going to. You can even feel motivated to get there. But without specific turns, you default to existing behavior. And existing behavior, everyone's existing behavior, is optimized for comfort, not for crossing. This video is the route, not metaphorically, literally. 3 structural moves that close the distance between where you are right now and the point where the math starts working in your favor. If you're starting from 0 at 40, 45, 50, or later, this matters more for you than for anyone else because your runway is shorter, which means the moves have to be cleaner. Before we get into the moves, I want to name the real problem, because it's not what most people think. Most people believe they're stuck because of income. They think they need to earn more before the plan can work. Some believe they're stuck because of the market. They're waiting for the right conditions. And a smaller group, the most dangerous group, believe they started too late, that the window has closed, that the math no longer favors them. All 3 of those beliefs are expensive, not wrong in every case, but expensive because they outsource your agency to variables you cannot control. The real reason most people stay stuck below the compounding minimum has nothing to do with income, markets, or timing. It has everything to do with optimization. Most people in the accumulation zone are optimizing for the wrong variable. They're tracking their portfolio balance. They're watching numbers move, reacting to headlines, adjusting allocations. None of that moves the runway. What moves the runway? The single most powerful variable in the accumulation zone is your savings rate, not your balance, not your returns, the rate at which you are converting income into base capital. When you optimize with the wrong metric, you generate the right feelings with the wrong results. That is the accumulation trap. Before we go into move 1, I want to ask you something directly. Right now, at this moment, do you know your savings rate? Not your portfolio balance, not your account total, not how much you put in last year. Your savings rate, the exact percentage of your monthly income actively building your base? Drop it in the comments. Just a number. 10%? 15? 25? 0. No judgment. I read every comment on this channel because here's what I've learned from building this community. The people who know their savings rate, exactly, not approximately, behave differently than those who don't. They make different decisions. They respond differently to setbacks. They move through the accumulation zone with intention. instead of drifting through it with hope. Awareness is not a passive act. It is the first structural move. And if you don't know your number right now, that's your starting point. Not the portfolio, not the platform. The rate, calculated after this video. Monthly take-home pay. Savings contribution. Divide savings by take-home. Multiply by 100. That percentage is your runway speed. Everything we discuss in the next 15 minutes is about increasing that number and protecting it. Now, move one. I said this in the last video. I'll say it again because it is the most important structural truth of accumulation zone. Income is the lever, not returns, not allocation, not the fund you choose. Income, here's the math. If you're saving 20% of $60,000 per year, you're adding $12,000 to your base annually. Increase that income to $80,000. Same savings rate, and you're adding $16,000. That's a 33% acceleration of your runway speed. No change in behavior, no change in discipline, just a change in the input. A 2% improvement in portfolio returns. Over a 5-year accumulation window, the difference is marginal. A $20,000 income increase, the difference is structural. This is why Move 1 isn't about where you invest. It's about what you're putting in the pipeline. Now, I'm not going to tell you to just earn more. If something in this video landed, if one move gave you clarity you didn't have before, leave a comment. Tell me which move you're starting with. I read everyone. And if you haven't watched the first video, the one that explains why the minimum exists, it's on screen right now. The map only works if you know where the gate is. See you in the next one.